Hey everybody, did you know that you can actually reuse your canning jar lids over and over and over almost indefinitely? This will save you a whole lot of money, and I am going to show you a surefire 100% chance way of knowing that this lid will reseal even if you've used it before you can with it. So watch this video, it's going to save you a lot of money. You're going to love it. Okay, this is really a great money saver and a good tip. I'm going to show you what you need to do. I know the manufacturers suggest that you use these canning jar lids only one time and then you throw them away. When most people first start canning, they do that. But when you can over a long time, you begin to realize that that's a big waste because you can use them over and over and over again. There's a few things that you can do that will prolong the life of this lid so that you can use it over and over again. And then there's one way that you can make absolutely sure that it is good to use, and I'm going to show you that at the end. So stay tuned. This video won't be very long, but it's going to really help you. So the first thing you're going to want to do is when you reuse a lid, this is a lid that's been used before, you're going to want to check it. You're going to want to make sure that there's no dents or dings, that the lid is flat and there's no bends in it. You want to make sure that your rubber gasket is intact and still good and that it's not all rusted out. If that's the case, you can use the lid over again. Now there's a couple of things you need to do to extend the life of this lid so that you don't have those issues. You want to be really careful when you take it off your jar. I suggest that you use one of these. It's a mason jar lid opener or something like that, because if you're using like a knife or a fork or something to pop it open, that's usually where it's going to get dented and dinged up. If you use these, they come off real easy and they won't damage your lids. So that's going to extend the life a whole lot. There's a lot of different kinds of tools used for this. I like this one the best because the way that it grabs, it makes sure that it's really not putting too much pressure on any one spot, and it's going to open it really, really easy. Another tip is that most canning videos and instructions and things will tell you to put vinegar in your water while you're canning. That's to keep the hard water spots from forming on the outside of your canning jars. I never do that. I never put the vinegar in my water because vinegar is extremely corrosive, and that's what's causing your lids and your rings to rust up. Honestly, if you get some water spots on your jar, it's gonna just come off when you wash them. And I always wash my jars anyway before I put them up in the pantry. So there's really no reason to use the vinegar other than to destroy your lids so that you have to buy new ones. Another thing is that I never put my lids in the dishwasher to wash them. The detergent that's used in a dishwasher is extremely corrosive again, and it will cause quick wear on your lids, and also the heat dry cycle will help to quickly break down that rubber gasket. So I don't put my lids in the dishwasher. I don't put vinegar in the water. When I clean my rims, if I have to clean with vinegar, I wipe it dry to make sure that there's no vinegar residue on it, and I'm careful when I take my lids off. And if you do those three things, your lids will last for a very long time, and you can use them over and over and over again. So that leads us to this last quick little trick. How do you make absolutely sure that this lid is going to seal before you can with it? You use this. This is a mason jar vacuum sealer. They're very inexpensive nowadays. You can get them between $10 and $20, $30 at the top end. And they seal your jars really, really quick. And this is how I use this little tool to make sure that my lids are still good before I use them. And of course, another quick handy use for this is that when you're reusing lids that you've already canned with before, and you want to see if the seal on it is still good, if you can use it again and you don't have to trash it, you can just do this and see if it seals. If the seal is no more good, if it doesn't work, then just giving it a few seconds, sorry, one-handed here, you can see. Now I didn't do it very long, but yeah, I mean, even just like 6 little seconds of it, broke my fingernails trying to get it off. So yeah, it's
It's sealed. So that lid is good, even though I've used it before. I can't do it with one hand.
All right, turning the camera around so I can have both hands here. Yep. So that way you don't have to throw all your lids away. You can actually test them to see if they're good enough to be sealable to use again. That is a great, very handy way to use this thing. That will save you a lot of money. Also, one more tip. If your jar doesn't seal, it may not be an issue with the lid. Say you're reusing lids and you have a batch and one or two doesn't seal and you're like, oh, I guess those lids weren't good. Not necessarily. You always want to also check your jar. Feel around this, because sometimes the jar has a defect. There's chips or there's little dips in the manufacturing here, and that can prevent your lid from healing. But really, most times when a jar does not seal, it's actually a siphoning issue and nothing to do with the jar or the lid, and it will work fine the next time that you use it. Because when the food siphons out of the jar, if you're pressure canning, this happens a lot in the canning process, then fat, grease, food particles can get lodged between the glass and the lid, and that will prevent you from getting a proper seal. So check your lid, check your jar, look at the jar if you have one that didn't seal and see if it's siphoned, and that'll give you a better clue about why your things are not sealing properly. But the lids can be used over and over again, and I really have not had any problem with them not sealing any more than they normally would, you know, if there was like a siphoning issue. All right, and that's all you have to do. And if you follow these tips that I'm giving you, you're going to be able to use those lids over and over and over and over again, and just be watchful of them. If you get one that starts to not seal, or if you get one that looks a little bent or a little worn out or rusted, throw it out, don't use it again. But until then, they're perfectly fine. I use them, I couldn't even tell you how many times.